Hey guys, Trev from the Struggling Artist Podcast, and I want to talk to you real quick about Struggling Artist Record Club. The Struggling Artist Record Club is a vinyl record subscription service where I hunt and curate the best punk and punk-adjacent music out there and mail their record to your door each and every month. Imagine finding your new favorite band from across the country without ever having to leave the house. It doesn't get much better than that. The excitement of discovering new music just got that much easier. As a member of the Struggling Artist Record Club, you are going to receive some of the best music you've ever heard from bands you may never even heard of. Whether you've been collecting records for years or just starting out, the Struggling Artist Record Club is designed specifically for you. And right now, all new members get a Struggling Artist Record Club exclusive along with the monthly selection. So head to StrugglingArtistRecordClub.com, pick a membership, and start building that collection today.
You're listening to the Struggling Artist Podcast.
People need to be entertained. They need the distraction.
With your host, Trev Allen.
I wish to God that somebody would do something to block out the voices in my head for 5 minutes.
Hey everybody, today my guest is Paul from the store Wicked Grooves Music and Vinyl in Whitensville, Massachusetts. He is a local record store owner. He got here about six months ago, I believe now. And I wanted to talk with him. We sat down, we talked about everything from, music that he grew up playing to what he likes now to the store and back around again. It was a great conversation. If you're in the central Massachusetts area, make sure you come check out his shop. Let me know. I'll hook you up with him. Local bands. He does consignment for your records. So if you want to put some in his shop, get at me if you can't reach out to him, and I'll get you in touch with him. This is episode 293 of the Struggling Artist Podcast, struggling with Wicked Grooves, Music and Vinyl. So, Paul, you're from Kentucky originally?
Yeah, Eastern Kentucky.
What brought you out here?
That's a good question. Actually, if I come up here for family, my wife is from up here.
Yeah.
We were both living in Florida.
Okay.
And I had just went and played a gig out at the Whiskey A Go-Go out in Hollywood in Halloween night in 2007. Right after we got together. And so we were in Florida for a while, and then her two kids are up here, and then now there's grandkids, and so we came up here for family purposes, really. And plus I was sick of the heat.
Yeah.
And being from Kentucky, I like more, the 4 seasons, and I like a nice cold winter, and it was a refreshing change. And I've visited Florida since I've been up here, and I did not like it at all. So
yeah.
I'm good to go up here.
Yeah, nice. So tell me about Eastern Kentucky. What I know about Eastern Kentucky, I've gotten from television, from bourbon, and from like bluegrass music.
Yep.
Eastern Kentucky. The only thing I really know about the eastern part of Kentucky is what I've seen about about Harlan County and the show Justified.
Yes, yeah, that's Harlan County is close. I'm from Pike County, which is right on the West Virginia border.
Okay.
And Harlan County is like the next county over. And and they filmed it there, so it's what it shows there is that's what it looks like.
Yeah, okay, with the mountains and everything.
And the Hatfields and McCoys. I'm related to the Hatfields,
Okay.
and that all took place right there where I'm from.
Wow.
And so it's coal mines.
That's
and,
a big thing there.
It's an old, a lot of old coal mining towns up there, and that's what my dad did and his dad. they worked in the coal mines. Then my dad was fortunate enough to kind of get a loan and go in with a partner, and so then he eventually owned 3 coal mines and his own trucking company. And they got just tired of it up there, and we used to go to Florida every year for vacation. So they eventually migrated to Florida back in the late 80s.
Oh, okay.
And my family, they've been there ever since.
Yeah, yeah. So you were young then when you left there, or?
No, I left there. I'm a lot younger than I am now, but but yeah, I was 20 years old.
Okay.
When I left Kentucky, and I've been back to visit a couple times, but I've still got cousins, aunts, and uncles and friends there. But
what's the music like? Is it like it is in the movies and shows and stuff like that? Like it's a lot of like banjo and fiddles and
a lot of cross-eyed people sitting on the porch playing a banjo.
I hope it's not that.
No, I'm serious, but no, it's a lot of bluegrass. And so growing up, I grew up in church, so there was we had like a pretty rocking church, and with guitars and bass guitars, and I learned to play piano, and all my cousins and my uncle, they were all they all played all the instruments, and they kind of taught me. And so I grew up basically playing in church, and then listening to stuff like everything from Leonard Skinner to and then I got the bug when I turned about 13 and seen Ozzy for the first time.
Oh yeah.
And on when the videos came out, there used to be a show on the USA Network called Night Flight.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, that's going way back. We're going back before MTV.
Okay, yeah.
And that was the thing to watch on Saturday nights if you wanted to see videos. And
Okay.
I saw the Bark at the Moon video, and that's the first time I'd seen Ozzy because we didn't have any radio. The only radio we had back there is country.
Yeah.
Right. And so, that's what I grew up listening to was country music, and I was just like, and then I'd go to the record stores and I would see these Ozzy album covers and stuff.
They're incredible.
And I was like, I wonder what this sounds like, because they wouldn't let me buy it.
Right.
And you're not going to hear it on the radio. Back then there's no internet. And then finally I was able to see him on videos on TV, and then went right out and got the Bark at the Moon album, and I've never looked back pretty much. I just kept going with Ozzy, and then got into Black Sabbath, and then I just kind of got heavier and heavier, and but I also grew up around a lot of bluegrass music, which I like and play as a musician. I did a bluegrass album when I lived in North Carolina years ago, and so I like all different kinds of music. But there's a bluegrass. That's the birthplace of bluegrass music, and there's a lot of good players and a lot of places to go if you want to go to bluegrass festivals, which you'll hear some good bluegrass music and just a lot of partying, just a big party.
Yeah.
So I kind of grew up with a real eclectic kind of a mix of different music, and me and my cousins, my cousins that were older than me, they got into Kiss, and then I became just a Kiss fanatic back then. So I really got into Kiss and Ozzy and Black Sabbath back in the, growing up as a kid in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, I think about local music, especially like in a place that's like you said, like bluegrass, like that's where it's from. You know what I mean? I'm sure you've heard people that like were better than the stuff you hear on the radio and stuff because they didn't have the proper channels to get there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that stuff. It's amazing. So like, I'm big into punk rock and I'm big into everything, but like with punk rock, whenever I hear like when, there's bands I've heard like banjo with and other like wind instruments and stuff, not quite like, I'm not the biggest like ska guy, but like I'm a huge like reggae fan. So like I hear a lot of horn instruments and that like different sounds to me, like it just does something to me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's always been my, like the weirder a band wants to be, the better I feel, Yeah,
absolutely. You need to change. You can't just listen to the exact same kind of music all the time.
Yeah.
I grew up in the 80s. I mean, I love 80s stuff.
Yeah.
And then, and then I love heavy stuff. And then I like bluegrass, and I like outlaw country. That's the band I'm in now. We do a lot of old outlaw country, classic stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I like a good mix, and I think that's one of the reasons I really have always wanted to open a record store is because, I like all different kinds of music.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's something magical about record shops. Like I remember when I was a kid, we'd go in. We had one in our town. I feel like every town should have one still. But like, so we would go into this record store and like, you know, you're hearing something over the loudspeaker if they've got something playing, and like you might want to talk. You might talk to the people, and they'll totally sell you on what is playing currently. And then like, I always like to look at like the import stuff that had like live recordings or like acoustic stuff of like the normal things I'd like, and you know what I mean? Like it was just something. It was like going to the video store. Like the video store and the music in the record shop were like the two just magical places, I think, as during my era. Like I grew up 80s and 90s, so you know I'm a little bit younger, but like I just couldn't wait to go every time.
That's I'm the same exact way. Back home in Kentucky, so we lived right across the river from West Virginia, a little town called Williamson, and which is it's like driving from here to Rhode Island, you know. And so we would go over there, and I have framed back behind my my register desk. I have a framed ad that somebody in Kentucky tracked down for me a few months ago, and it was called the TV Center and Record Shop, and that was downtown. And we would go down there, and to me it was the greatest thing in the world to go there, because we eventually got a mall and got a disc jockey. I don't know if you remember disc jockey stores.
No.
So that was kind of like a Camelot Music. It was kind of a chain that was
like a Record Town or Strawberries.
Exactly. You'd see them in malls and stuff. But before that, there was the record shop. So you could go in there and you could buy a guitar amp. You could buy a stereo. You can buy a television. You could buy some T-shirts, and you can buy records. And then they had a big aisle. One side of the aisle was VHS tapes you could rent, and the other side was Betamax.
Yeah, and you could rent them.
Yeah. And back then, you had to pay about $75, $80 to get a membership card just to rent the movies.
Yeah, because movies, like, I remember I broke a VHS tape one time, and it cost my parents like $90.
Yes, I remember that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now you could buy that same thing for $4 or $5, probably.
Yeah. It was crazy.
But back then, that's how much they cost the people that were running the stores.
Yeah.
So, but that's my big thing is I was glad I found an ad for that. But the TV Center and Record Shop, and you could just get pretty much anything you wanted as far as stereo, TV.
Yeah.
And that's what I always kind of aspired to want to do, is open up a store that's not just records. Yeah. But since I play music, I want to have some guitar strings and picks. I want to have some records. I want to have some shirts and that's what we're doing here, is just doing something a little bit different than your average record store.
Yeah, no, I like that, because you service guitars too, right?
Yeah. I've worked for guitar repair shops, some of the biggest repair shops in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. I studied under a guy named Craig Landau, who's like he's like a master. I mean, he builds guitars and stuff.
Yeah.
But so I've learned from some really good people. So I'm not his level, but I mean, if you need your guitar restrung and set up and neck adjustment and stuff like that, you can come in, and we can certainly do that for you.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. And then you got your stereo equipment. There's some stereo equipment I see over there. Some from time to time you come across and sell. And
yeah, people bring stuff in. I try to not turn anybody down unless it's something that's like broken or just something I'm not going to be able to sell. And but I'll look at anything. I got like a Panasonic stereo system looks like it's from the early 90s.
Yeah.
And and it came with a separate Sony 5 CD changer deck. So the last one I had in here, it lasted. I was in the process of taking a couple pictures of it, and I was going to put it on their Facebook page, and somebody came in and bought it while I was taking the pictures. So
nice.
People still want CD players and stuff like that. And I've had some vintage turntables. What I consider vintage is, like Japanese made stuff from like the 70s and 80s, like JVC and Pioneer and stuff like that.
Yeah, those receivers are so powerful. Like,
oh yeah.
There was a lull where like I don't think people realized how much they were worth, and then in recent years, like I've seen the prices on it, because I was like, man, I should have bought 10 of these things like 6 years ago when you could find them for cheaper, But now they're like. People want $800-900, but and they're worth it. They're more powerful than the ones you can get today. Oh yeah, I feel like they're built a little bit stronger.
Yeah, the audiophile guys, which is like kind of like how I am. I mean, they're picky about their stuff, and to find a good receiver setup. Like I grew up with, I had a big JVC system that that was really nice. And but you know what, and you know, and I come across stuff like that from time to time. But what we carry here, I'm an authorized dealer with the Audio Technica turntables.
Yeah.
And so what I have in stock, I have access to all of it. But what I stock here at the store is the ones that have Bluetooth. Mm-hmm. And then I also have Bluetooth speakers for sale. But most people now already have Bluetooth speakers.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of the younger people that come in and shop here and buy records, they they don't have a big system with a receiver, and not everybody knows about how to hook up a phono preamp and a ground wire, like I've got right here.
Right.
And so I just try to make it as easy as possible for people to listen to records.
Yeah, and that's an amazing thing. And I want to see, like, to have a place, because like if you go, there's places I've been to, and like you're not gonna find like a mid-tier like audio, like for stereo stuff, receivers or record players. Like everything's top tier, right? So it's like to have a place where you can get like a decent player, because a lot of the ones like I bought my first record player like when I started getting back into records was like I bought this like Jensen 3-speed off of like Amazon, and I tell you what, man, like, and it had an internal speaker for what, like if you're starting out, you don't want like a U-turn orbit. You know what I mean? I've got a U-turn orbit now, and I still don't want it. Like, I hate changing the belt. Like, it's a pain. You know what I mean? So like to want to like, and it can get expensive to collect records, to listen to records like constantly. So like, you have to really start low and build yourself up, and to offer, like I said, that mid tier with the Audio Technica stuff. Like, that's awesome. And even if some of that stuff you can get real pricey with Audio Technica too. But you want to provide for people. Whitensville's a smaller town. You know what I mean? It's a working class town. Like, no one wants to go to a store and not be able to afford anything.
And that's what I have kind of set out to do here. I don't want a store that's a museum, where there's all kinds of really cool stuff to look at that's expensive.
Yeah.
I buy collections from people. I buy stuff in bulk. And I've got customers that'll bring me a handful of stuff here and there, and we'll wheel and deal, and I'm willing to negotiate and stuff like that. But a lot of people just they come in, and a guy came in last Saturday, and he brought 5 boxes of records. He said he was going to donate them to the Salvation Army. So he brought me in 5 boxes. He brought me in 5 more this past Tuesday. So that it was an entire collection of his that he just didn't have room for and didn't use anymore. And he had taken excellent shape of it.
Yeah.
It was in excellent shape. He took really good care of it. And, I was able to get it at we agreed on a really good price. So I priced everything really good.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's old Beatles records. If I have people, it's like, well, you could sell this online for $80, $90. It's like, I don't want $80, $90 records in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to be able to buy it, to sell the stuff fast. I want people to know that when they come in here, I got good prices, and they'll keep coming back. I would rather have that than sell a couple of $100 records.
And there's something like, and when I met you before you even opened there, I had saw a Facebook post and I commented on it, and you're like, if you want to stop by, we're here at this time to this time.
Yep.
And I came in and I met you, and like the human experience, there's value to that, I think. You know what I mean? When you talk with somebody, and like you could talk about music, and when you can bond with somebody that you haven't met over, whether it's a book or a song or a film or just a piece of like a painting on the wall, you know what I mean? Like there's value to that. And that's how communities are built. And like, I feel like having something here, because like, I'll be honest, I lived in Whitensville total. I've been here 6 years total. I left for like a year and a half and then came back. But like, I just didn't really do much in the town. Like it was like, to me, I was just like, there's nothing here. Like I would leave. I'd go to Worcester every day. Go to Worcester. I'd drive out to West Boylston to get coffee, You know what I mean? Because like I liked my place where I lived, and like, but I didn't feel like I was part of this place. You know what I'm saying? But like moving back, and then like for a minute there we had the art commune that was over here on Hill Street. The those people, the State of Mind people. And like I talked with them a few times and I was like, all right, cool. There's like an artsy thing here. And then you opened up the shop and I'd come in and like every time I come in here, at least, you know, I've never come in here and not seen at least 2-3 people walk in while I was here. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I mean, word's getting around, and you know, it was like Saturday. You know, I've been in retail my whole life. My background is music stores, and you know, I've worked for. I won't mention any names, but I've worked for the big, you know, the big box
Yep.
stores, and that kind of runs all the mom and pops out of business. And I did that for a long time, and I've worked for a lot of mom and pop stores, and so I've seen both ends of it, and I've, you know, in the process, I gained a lot of experience on how to merchandise stuff and make stuff look cool and make some cool looking displays, and so I like that part. But I like the independently owned kind of vibe, you know, where I can just kind of do what I want and help customers out and spend time with them and talk to them and stuff like that. I mean, it's a cool little town because I haven't been up here that long. I've been up here about 10 years or so, and I live 20 minutes from here. I'd never been to this town.
Okay.
And I used to work up at the Millbury.
Yeah.
And I used to drive by up and down, you know, 146 all the time, but I didn't know this town, you know, what was over here. I never went to any of the towns.
Yeah. You just see the sign for purgatory and you're like, okay, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So
What's going on over there?
Yeah, really. We came to look at this store late last year, and we just fell in love with the town.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's just it. And I don't know if it's like, again, I moved, I was here and then I left and I came back and like the town, like I like it. I mean, it's my home now. You know, to me, like this is my home now. You know what I mean? Like I don't see myself leaving this area. Which is weird because I've always been like the wanderer kind of guy. You know, I've lived in different parts of the country. I've lived in different parts of Massachusetts. I lived in every state in New England except for Vermont. Like, you know, and you know, so like I've been around and like, and I guess I was just waiting for something here for me, like, and you know what I mean, and bonding, like I said, coming into a music shop and like seeing people come in here. I came in here one day and a couple people came in and they were like so excited about the t-shirts, like, you know, like band shirts, right? Because like they're you know, it's not like you're going to the mall and going into a Hot Topic and spending, you know, $35-$40, you know what I'm saying? Like it's cool. It's a cool. And again, I think every town should have a little record shop or a little music shop in general, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, well, I mean, that's one of the things I looked at too. I mean, obviously, I didn't want to go to a town where there was 2 or 3 shops or even one.
Yeah.
You know, it's a small town. So
Yeah.
I figured I was far enough away from people that I'm not going to step on anybody's toes.
Yeah.
But like I said, we try to do something a little bit different here. That's a little bit different from the average record store.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
As far as the kind of stuff we carry, the look of it, you know, the extra stuff we carry.
Yeah. And then you do like local music will come through. You know what I mean? You'll get some local musicians and stuff here, and they'll like you know, they'll have records that put out here, right? You've done that, yeah.
I've got a rack over there of local music stuff, and
That's my wheelhouse. It doesn't matter the genre, just local music, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I sold a CD today to a kid that came in right before you got here, and he just bought it because it was local.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I've got a couple of local metal bands.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we sell a lot of metal stuff here. And the one guy, he bought one of their records the other day, and I was like, "Oh, you know these guys?" And they said, "No, I just thought it looked cool."
Yeah.
You know, and that's cool too, because it's like that's how I found out about a lot of the music that I would never have known if I would like it or not. I just thought it looked really cool.
Yeah. Or a band name sounds like, oh, that sounds like a brutal name. Let me try that. Yeah.
So that's the cool thing. Versus anybody can shop online.
Yeah.
You know, you can buy most of the stuff we have here. You know, you can look it up online and find it, but to go in and see it and be able to touch it and flip it over and look at it, that's a big difference.
And then you offer a human experience. Like you engage. You engage with every person that walks through that door. Mm-hmm. You're a people person. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I mean, I think that's also part of the sell. Like that's part of the lure here. You know what I'm saying? Like
Plus, people like the accent too. So they get a kick out of that. This long haired guy, metalhead looking dude that's got this hillbilly accent. You know, that's kind of cool too. But, But it's been that way ever since I moved up here. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's not too many of us Kentucky hillbillies up here.
Right, right. So yeah, so I mean, like, I know I found last time I was here. Last time I grabbed something when I was here was I found that Fuerza Bruta album, and you're like, you know who that is? I'm like, yeah, I actually just talked to the guy in this band because one of the members of that band was in another band that I knew, you know. So like there is always like I don't ever like there's always something here for me, and I'm always like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Like I think I came in one time and I saw Sam Kinnison's face. I'm like, I need that one, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you got that one.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. And there's something about like, I mean, and you sell a lot of new records too. They're not just all used, right? But there's something to me when it comes to like whether it's used music, like a record or it's cassette or a book, like it adds like a little bit extra because like someone else enjoyed this. For so long, and then like and then like kind of like I brought you in a bin of records today, right? And I was like, here, you can have these.
Yes, and thank you again.
There's stuff like in there that like I listened to, but like I haven't listened to in years. So why am I gonna hoard it where I can put it somewhere and someone can get the same joy I had out of it? You know what I mean? That's why I like. There's something about used. Especially like with the more like national acts commercial, big acts music. When you buy a used record, or again, I go back to books too. Like I love buying used books when as long as like they're older books, right? I'm not gonna like if there's like a new Matthew Norman book, I'm gonna buy it from him so he makes money. But like when you buy these older books, like I bought a book for my nephew from the 70s that I had when I was a kid and we lost it in a fire. So like I sought out the same exact copy, like the same cover and everything, and I got it for him because like I just felt like there's magic to that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big fan of books too. I have like my man cave that I have at my house. I have, I've got my guitars and stuff in there and my stereo system and my turntable and records. And I've also got just a section of just shelving. So it's like I got like a mini library. And I've got a lot of books that I've collected over the years. And, you know me, I'm like, even though I have this accent, I'm big into horror movies. And I've got like most all the Stephen King books. I'm always looking for like original hardback stuff from him and all the old stuff. And, but I just like books. There's something about just having books and just be able to pull one off the shelf and read. Like the other day, I took my granddaughter to a bookstore not too long ago, and because she's about 17 now, and she's getting really into reading books and kind of sci-fi stuff, which is cool. And I picked up a copy of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, just something I've never had, and then it's just been sitting there. And the other day, I was on Facebook, and I posted a thing. I seen it was her birthday, or it would have been her 280th birthday or something. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. And so I went home that night, and then so I went to lay down and look for something to read. And I just picked that up and just started reading that one. Because I love stuff like that. Like as they call her the mother or the queen of science fiction, and just to read like what she wrote back then. I mean, it's just so cool, and it just kind of started all those kind of stories and books and movies, and that I've always been a huge fan of.
Yeah. So do you offer other things like there's CDs here, right? I've seen CDs here before. I've seen movies here.
We have a lot of CDs. Yes, I sell. I don't price my CDs individually different like I do the records. Everything we've got in our CD case is $5.
Okay.
And then there's some stuff I order that are new CDs. So I'm not trying to have a bunch of new CDs like I have new records. Like I sell a lot of Nirvana and Alice in Chains, and a lot of the young people, they come in here.
That's classic rock now.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Crazy.
So I have to, I'm set up with a few distributors and record labels that I can get stuff wholesale from, so I can just pass the savings on, and you can buy it for the same price here as you can buy it online.
Yeah.
But for CD, for a lot of the metal stuff, the hard to find stuff, a lot of that stuff is new.
Yeah.
And so But for the majority of it, yeah, used CDs are $5, and then I have about 4 bins of bargain bin CDs that are $2.
Okay.
And then sometimes if we have a sale, I may do 2 for $1 because I'm getting overloaded with these.
You did like a
bargain bin
sidewalk
CDs.
sale a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah. I just put like 5 bins of stuff out there on the sidewalk and did records for $1 a piece and CDs for 2 for $1.
Yeah, nice. It went well, yeah? People came by, yeah?
It was, yeah. I mean, all I did was, all I did was just I made a Facebook post and put tables out there, and people were just started coming in.
There's in this town. And again, like I said, I'm starting to get more into like the town and stuff. It could be my age. I'm getting older too. You know what I mean? But like, they do like they have this strip right here in particular. Like they do because this used to be like the old like downtown area or whatever, right? It might still be the downtown area of like Whitensville or whatever, but.
You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I'm not exactly.
Yeah, I know. I'm not either. So like, but like they do like they have like little festivals here and stuff like that, and they'll shut down the street so people can walk. Have you experienced any of that yet? Has that happened yet? I don't know. I have to now. Like, I have to actually check like the stuff to figure out when those happen. But
yeah, in June, I can't remember the date, but in June they had the what they call the Whitensville, like the sidewalk sale.
Okay.
Where they block it off down here at the light from there down to Unibank. Okay. So they block that off, and they have like they got a Dunkin' booth, and they got games set up for kids, and you can have people that are from not in the town or don't matter if you are or not, but they can set up like tables and stuff like that. So I didn't do that because I just figured, well, it's just me here, and I didn't want to put records out in the hot sun in June.
Yeah. That makes
so I just put stuff out right here out in front of the store.
Right.
And people were parking up here and walking down there. So, it was slamming busy all day.
Awesome.
People go down there, then on the way back, they would stop here and check out the cool record store.
Yeah.
But they do a few things like that, I think. And I'm looking forward to all that because I've just had nothing but good vibes in this town. Everybody in the town's real excited to have a store like this. And I try to deal local with everybody, whether it's the bank I'm using for the store and insurance and stuff like that. I mean, I just try to
stay local.
I try to stay local, because I'm from a small town and my business is now in a small town, and I want to support this town.
Yeah. So like I was gonna say that growing up, like I grew up in it was a small town. It's grown quite a bit now, but like. I remember like going into like the little Italian shops, the little delis, and everything was local. Like I had my car insurance from this place that was like up the street, and like everything stayed local. And then like when I moved away, that's when I was like, oh wow, there's so much more to like out here. But like then here I am, I find my own little town I want to move to. You know what I mean? Yep. And that's kind of how I got here.
I mean, it's been everybody's been. Very supportive here, around town. And I get customers that come in here and they're like, I'm like, hey, how you doing? It's like, yeah, I just want to come in and pick something up. I mean, I want you to stay open. I love this store. I'm just, and that's really cool to hear people say that. But now at this point, here we are 6 months later. There's we got a lot of repeat customers. I mean, I see some of the same people every week.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Or every other week. They come in, and I'm on a first name basis with a bunch of customers now.
That's awesome.
They'd like to, and it's all different kinds of customers. Some customers like the bargain bins, some customers buy nothing but CDs. Some customers just want to look at the T-shirts. You mentioned movies. I had some DVDs. I've got some stuff in the bargain bin, but I'm not really. You can buy DVDs anywhere.
Yeah.
So what I have is some like concerts. I've got like Primus and Tool and Alice in Chains and Ozzy and Kiss.
What were you watching? The Cramps, right? The Cramps one?
Yeah, the Cramps was on the other day. Yeah, so and then for October, I've got some really cool stuff planned. There's going to be a lot of instead of rock and roll posters in here, there's going to be a lot of horror movie posters, shirts that my wife Audrey, she's my partner in business and has been just absolutely amazing getting the store going and helping out. And so we're doing like shirts. We're going to have some really cool stuff in the display windows, some cool banners. I'm going to have, I got about 75 different horror movies on DVD and Blu-ray that I'm going to have just for, for Halloween. So, so basically, I'm doing concerts and horror movies.
Yeah.
Because that's the stuff I like, and and that's the stuff that most people want. You can buy, Men in Black and movies like that, and Harry Potter. You can buy that stuff anywhere.
Yeah.
I just want to specialize in just kind of that kind of thing.
Right. And I didn't even mention the posters. Like you got these are I remember you'd have to order these out of a metal magazine to get stuff like this back in the day. So my cousin had one. It was and this was actually I bought the record here. It was Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time, Caught Somewhere in Time, and she had the big banner with the Eddie on the, you know what I mean? All sci-fi'd out, and that was my introduction to metal. And I was because I was obsessed with that picture, it just so happened you had the record here one of the last times I was here, and I grabbed it. I was like, I need this. There was no way it wasn't coming home with me. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
I mean, that's what it is. You'll come to a record store and you'll see something that reminds you of something you had when you was a kid, and you don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
You won't think about that if you're just scrolling through your phone and looking at stuff online.
Yeah, exactly.
But I try to have that cool kind of stuff here.
Now, do you sell the posters and stuff like that?
Yeah, I sell the banners. There's a couple places I get those from. And, I mean, there's not one available for every album cover you can think of.
Right.
But I just look at what is available and what I think it's going to be cool. So I'm going to have a few different, couple different things going on for the month of October. And then for Christmas, then I like to switch them up. But I do sell them. I'll climb up on the ladder and I'll take them down and sell them.
Yeah.
And I've sold quite a few of them.
That's awesome.
Actually, I just thought, I wanted an older building to have a store in.
Yeah.
And instead of just a generic strip mall kind of a store. And when I got in here, and I was like, well, these ceilings are really high. And then my experience of working in big retail stores was like, I want to use up all the space to make it look good. And then I found these 4 foot by 4 foot banners that were album covers.
Yeah.
So, and then, the spacing, the wooden shelves, these shelves were already here. So we painted the shelves, and then I noticed they were those, the little braces, brackets, whatever you want to call it, they're 4 feet apart. So, and then there's a little groove up there in the shelf that the record sets in.
That's what the records are sitting in right
There's
now?
a groove already there. And it's absolutely perfect, like it was meant to be.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make it look as cool as possible. So yeah, we can sell the banners. If you're looking for a specific banner, I'll see if it's available, But I'll sell any of these off the wall, and I'll just get something to replace it with.
So, do you dive into more collectible stuff, or is it just are you just sticking to this stuff here? And because, like I said, you have, like you said, you had a couple movies and stuff like that, but you like the live shows, live concerts. I don't know. Do you get into are you gonna, or as you grow here, will you do more other collectible things too, or just kind of just sticking to the music? And
I think just the type of stuff we have here, it's some people have asked about the Funko Pop things and stuff like that. You can get those anywhere.
Yeah, you can.
You can go to Blah Blah Comics, and the half of the wall of the store is just those.
Yeah.
Guitar
they don't even
Center
have comics anymore. They just
right.
Yeah.
You can see those. You can get that kind of stuff anywhere.
Yeah. There's no reason to have it.
But if anybody wants to bring anything in here, I mean, I'll look at it. I mean, if there's somebody's got an original set of the old Kiss dolls and stuff like that.
Right.
But I'm not really looking. And then plus there's a really really nice comic book store here in town. Great Stories.
Oh yeah.
They do the games and the gaming and stuff like that.
That place is huge. Yeah.
And
I've been in there a couple times too.
So they do that kind of thing, So I'm not looking to do stuff like you would find at that store.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I'm just looking for more.
But I like that too. I remember when I was growing up, there was a comic book store. There was a music shop. There was a comic book store, music shop, baseball card store. They didn't all be in one. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's I don't want to step on anybody's toes or try to sell stuff that you can get anywhere and everywhere online. I want to get just cool stuff. It's when you walk in, it's wow, I've never seen stuff like this in a store before. So we're going to have some. So for October, We're going to have a lot of, like I said, we're going to have some horror movies that you can buy. We're going to have some really cool. I'm replacing a lot of the posters with horror movie posters. We're going to have a bunch of. I've got a whole crate full of horror movie soundtracks on vinyl.
I know. I'm looking at
A
it.
lot of it comes from Waxwork, which I'm set up
Yep.
as an authorized dealer for, and then just some other stuff and some original press stuff. And then I already have a lot of customers that are into that can't wait for October.
Yeah.
You know, and so a lot, and I'm one of those people. I mean, for my record collection, you'd think I'm like John Cusack in High Fidelity, how he's got his entire apartment is shelves full of records. That is not what my stuff looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff I have is like the old Ghost Story records and Vincent Price records and horror movie soundtracks and
God, I need those.
Yeah.
I gotta find some of those.
Yeah.
I've got some. I remember. Yeah, I've from like stuff that I've picked up across the years. I found some cool stuff like that. That's not like it's not your typical just music, right? It's like stuff like I've got one. It's like all of John F. Kennedy's like speeches from.
dude, I've come across a bunch of John F. Kennedy records and sold every one of them.
Yeah.
Especially here lately, it's like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
And but I'm not. But I'll look it up online. It's like, all right, these are not really worth that much.
Right,
They must have made millions of them.
Yeah.
So I put them in the bargain bin for $2, and I've sold quite a bit of them. You know,
Yeah.
and usually they're kind of scratchy, or you know, like I don't want to sell anything here that's beat up and that's going to skip.
Yeah.
But if it's not up to my standards, then I'll put it in the bargain bin.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have bought the John F. Kennedy records and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But stuff that's a little bit different. I mean, I've got it. I had to look this thing up. It came in a collection. I've got a Bobby Orr record from the Bruins.
What? Really?
Yeah, I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
It's a Bobby Orr record, and I looked at it, and
What is it though? Is he singing?
No, apparently it's him just giving advice or tips or like lessons on how to play hockey.
Oh wow.
So that's something
Yeah.
that's you'd have to be up here.
Right. Yeah.
Be hard pressed to find that out west or down south anywhere.
Right.
Where down south they don't know what hockey is, but
Yeah.
Since I met my wife who's from up here, my stepson Scotty, it's like I really got into hockey because I've just being from the south, it's never on TV.
Yeah.
And you don't ever get to see it. And then I've become a huge Bruins fan.
Yeah.
And I watched the entire 2011 season when they won the cup.
Oh yeah.
That was great. But it's just cool to see stuff. I had something that came in the other day, and I sold it the day we had the sidewalk sale. There was a Boston Red Sox record. Mm-hmm. Somewhere here, I've got a Boston Celtics record. It was the 1984 Celtics. With Larry Bird, and it's just like somebody. I guess it's just kind of like radio broadcast of just stuff, or highlights, or just the story of how they won the championship.
I've got one about it's like it happened in Harvard Square in Boston. It was like some kind of protest from the 70s. And the whole thing, like all like the news and stuff they covered it is all on this like record, and I have that at my house too.
Oh, okay. I haven't come across one of those.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird one. And then like I also have like a couple of my favorite books, like like memoirs. The guy did like an abridged version on vinyl. So
okay.
Yeah, those are cool too. Yeah. I mean that's cool, man. It's like again, I'm there's just like a physical media, especially when it comes to records and stuff like that. It's just something special. You know?
It is. I came across some stuff the other day that I got from a collection that came in, and it was called Sounds from Space.
Oh wow!
And it was from it was from the 60s.
Yeah.
And they were using whatever keyboard synthesizer technology they had back then. They was basically just making the sounds that you would have heard in like a 50s or 60s sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
And that was like, and I was like, this is really cool. And somebody immediately bought it. When I put it out. So.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I love coming across stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you got something here, a little bit of something here for everybody, I think.
Yeah, I've got stickers and I've got the buttons, like the kids like to wear. I've got we got bracelets and just a lot of rock and roll stuff. My wife Audrey, she's got ladies shirts, shirts and jewelry and bracelets and just kind of it's all kind of music related and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really tough for somebody to walk around and not at least spend $1 on a sticker or something.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So that's kind of the idea. It's like a little something for everybody, even if you're just passing through and looking. You know,
No doubt, yeah.
So I've got stuff in all price ranges for just a little bit of something for everybody is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to do. You know.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. What are your like hours of operation? Like how if someone's coming by or whatever.
So we're closed Sundays and Mondays,
Okay.
and we're open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 6.
It's a good time.
From probably Black Friday until Christmas, we'll be open 6 days a week.
Okay.
Probably Monday through Saturday.
Okay.
We'll do that, and just just to make sure everybody has a chance to come by. I mean, Mondays in the summertime, not a lot going on here in town. But we're going to be doing that, and then also the other thing I keep going back to October. We got all kinds of cool stuff going on, but we're going to do a giveaway. So every customer that comes in October, everybody that comes in that buys something will get a ticket, and just like a raffle ticket. There's no charge; it's free. All you have to do is make a purchase. You can make multiple purchases for the month, and you'll get a ticket every time. And then what we're going to do is do a giveaway on a very rare, expensive, and hard to find horror movie album,
Okay.
a soundtrack album. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the giveaway at like in the afternoon, like around like 3:00 on the Saturday before Halloween, which is the 26th. We're going to have live music in here that day.
I was going to ask you about. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
we're going to have a local band from Worcester. Actually, he's the bass player in my band, and this is his other band, his other project, and they're called Tombstone Toffee.
Okay.
And they're a lot like if you know who Tenacious D is.
Yep.
They're like that, but their stuff they're kind of more kind of like a darker Tenacious D, but still kind of funny, but
Yeah.
really really good.
Yeah.
So it's so they're going to do like a 2-man like acoustic thing up here. We're going to clear out that front corner. So we're going to have them. They're going to play in here for a little bit, and you have to be here to win.
Yeah.
If you want to win it, if you lose your ticket, you can just take a picture of it with your phone. That's no big deal. But as soon as their little show's over with, then we're going to do the drawing and give away the record on the
record.
Saturday right before Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. So yeah, all right. Live music at the music shop. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, people have been asking me about that, and I was just like, well, we're going to wait till we have an event. And plus, it's been summer and it's been hot. It gets
Yeah.
hot in the stores, you can tell.
Yeah.
It's an older building. I love it, but it does get kind of hot.
I like
so.
it's just the vibe of the building too. I think you picked the right place, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, we spent the better part of last year looking at locations, and everything I looked at, I was like, I'm not feeling it. This is not really what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I kind of want something that's in a small town that gives you the vibe like it used to be an antique store, and this did used to be an antique
Oh,
store.
was it? Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a few things
Yeah,
over the
yeah,
years.
yeah.
But the lady, Mary Hatfield, who owns this building, her family built this in the
wow.
early 1900s, and it's been in the same family for all
got
these
roots.
years.
Yeah.
And she's super cool and been really, really good to us and worked with us a lot. And so it just felt like the right kind of vibe, the right situation, and it just felt like the time was right to go, to do this thing I wanted to do in this place, in this town.
That's good, man. I'm glad you're here. Again, I love coming in just to chop it up with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, check out what you got, and and I'm always I'll bring Paul a record every once in a while. Hey, check this out.
Yeah, I know. See, I love that.
Yeah.
If y'all like anybody that likes to talk music and stuff like that, I'm the guy to come and see.
Yeah.
I'll sit and talk about music and records or guitars or whatever all day long.
So I know a lot of local artists and stuff like that. So if they wanted to, like, how does it work with them? Do you do like a consignment, or do you just buy it from them? Or
Yeah, I do consignment.
you do consignment with them. Okay.
Yeah, for local artists, not because I don't trust that I'll sell their music. It's nothing to do with that. It's just that's just how it normally is.
Yeah.
So they'll bring me their records,
Yep.
and they'll tell me, how much do you want for this? Well, we want $5 for these CDs.
Yeah.
And then I'll sell them for $6
Yeah.
or whatever. I'm not trying to make money off the local artists.
Yeah.
Just give me a very small percentage.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I had somebody actually email me today from New York, and he's going to mail me a couple of records
Nice.
to see if to see how they sell here.
Yeah.
And I mean, me being I've toured with 2 different bands when I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I know how it is to be an artist in an original band, writing original material, then trying to get your stuff out there. You know, it's like anybody can record something in their bedroom and put it up online. Anybody can do that. But if you're a band, I don't care what kind of music it is, if you've got a CD or a record and you want it for sale in a real record store, this is the place to bring it.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. That's awesome. I want to ask you this, and then before we get out of here, because I know you're a busy man. I don't want to take up all your time on a Saturday afternoon. To do something like this, to like, it takes a lot of courage to go, all right, I'm going to shift gears here. I'm going to open up my own business. You know what I mean? And then have it be exactly what you wanted it to be. You know?
Right.
Like, offer some advice to people out there who are too, not that they're too afraid to do it, but they just don't see how it could be possible.
Well, I mean, there's startup costs,
Yeah.
so that's an obvious answer. You know, obviously everybody knows that you need to save, or whether it's a small business loan or whatever. I was fortunate enough that a couple of investments, a couple things kind of paid off, and then plus we just saved because I've been planning this for a few years. But that's the obvious thing. But just like we were talking about, just looking for a good location. Just like the stuff you want to sell in your store or whatever. I mean, do the stuff that you like.
Yeah.
Because if you like it, other people are going to like it. And that's kind of what I did. We sell a lot of, like I said, we sell a lot of metal stuff here. You know, I spent a lot of time. I lived in Florida many years back in the late 80s and all through the 90s, you know, pretty much. Back down in the Florida death metal years, you know, and I met a lot of those bands, and they came in the music stores that I worked at and bought stuff from me, and so I was really into that. So when I was like, well, when I open the store, I want to have stuff like that here. Let's see how it does, and it's been crazy ever since.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our niche thing here. I mean, we've got tons of records. You want Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Van Halen? We got that stuff. You know,
I've watched your metal and punk section grow since you got here.
It is growing. It's expanding, and that's what a lot of people around this town come in and they want. And they're looking for. And
Worcester's a big metal town. People don't realize that.
Yeah, a lot of metal stuff. But I would, my advice would be just do it. You know, you only live once. You know, the economy's not going to start getting better. Probably, it's probably just going to keep. You know, it's going to plane off or whatever. But I wouldn't put a lot of stock into that or what's going on. I mean, if you got the means and if you got a dream and you know, just go for it and just do it. You know, do the kind of thing that you like. Don't try to please everybody. Do what you want. And then you know, then after I opened up, I've been here 6 months. I see what people are looking for, and I try to accommodate, you know, the customer base of the area that I'm in. So, you know, that's the main thing is, you know, if I opened up a record store in Kentucky, I'd probably be selling a lot of bluegrass instead of death metal, you know, but that's just kind of, you just kind of go with the flow. And, you know, but I would say, you know, if my advice to anybody is just, you know, if you got a dream, just go for it. You only live once, you know?
There you go. All right. And now, where can people find, like, you can give the address. Give the address to this place.
Yeah, so we're Wicked Grooves Music and Vinyl.
Yeah.
You can find us on Facebook. We're the only Wicked Grooves out there. We're at 163 Church Street, and that's in Whitensville. Our phone number is 508-266-0021.
Cool.
And then you can get our email address. You can get that off the Google. You can get it off the Facebook page. It's Wicked Grooves Music at Gmail. You can send us an email, shoot us a Facebook message. You know, like I said, Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 6. Big cool stuff going on in October here.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just want to thank you, Trev, for having us on here, man.
Of course. Shout out your band, too, so people can, you know.
Yeah, my band is Boomstick Whiskey.
Boomstick Whiskey. Is there anything out there people can listen to, like YouTube videos?
We got a Facebook page, and there's some live stuff on there.
Okay, so if there's anyone local that want to check you guys out.
There's some live stuff from the Valley Pub right here in Whitensville. We played there. And so there's some cool stuff on there. We're like a throwback to like the old outlaw country, like Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, and stuff like that. And then we do some Chris Stapleton and some Southern rock stuff. So not the stuff your average band would play that you would hear. We've got some real good players in this band. And you can check us out, Boomstick Whiskey.
All right. Well, that's it. That was painless.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks again for having me, man.
Yeah, man. Anytime you got something going on big, let me know. We can talk about it again.
Sounds good, man.
Right,
Thanks.
Cool. All right, and that's the show. I want to thank Paul again for being today's guest on the Struggling Artist Podcast. In the show notes, you will find links to the shop's Facebook page. Be sure to check them out. If you're a local band, hit them up, do some kind of consignment, get your stuff out there. He's got a lot of people coming through there that are just looking for like local things. So make sure you hit him up. And if you need an introduction, let me know and I will do that for you. I want to thank Chris Chavez for doing everything he does, being producer of the podcast. Thank you to State Line Records for being sponsor of the podcast. And thank you to everybody over at Patreon supporting us. If you want to see what's going on over at Patreon, head to patreon.com/podcast TSA. We have multiple podcasts that are exclusive to the Patreon, as well as all sorts of little perks for you. Thank you to everybody who listens to the podcast and shares it and sends us emails and texts and voicemails. And if you're thinking to yourself, what does that mean? What do you mean voicemails? What do you mean text? You can hit us up at 774-570-1552. You can text or leave us a voicemail. I will play them on the show if you would like. Just tell me if you don't want me to read or play your message. All right, we're getting out of here, and we don't have a song from the record store. So, as always, I want to shout out the one of my favorite bands from Boston, Losers Circle, for allowing us to use their song, Great Illusion of Time, as the theme song to this podcast, and you are about to hear that right now. But if you like this tune, go to our link tree or our website, podcasttsa.com, and look for the link to Loser Circle's Bandcamp and buy a copy of their record. It's called Took Long Enough. Here we are with The Great Illusion of Time. Until next week, take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you then.